Owning a dog can have a positive impact on your health, happiness and safety. But what about having another animal, like a werewolf? But wait, I have a better idea. How about you have a boyfriend and a werewolf? Hello everyone and welcome to Top Things. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the sensational video that follows. In case you still haven't figured out who a boyfriend and a werewolf might be, I'll help you. Gentlemen, and especially ladies, Taylor Lautner. But hang on, I haven't really seen him on screen lately. Next you'll have the reason why Taylor Lautner was blacklisted by Hollywood. When we consider Taylor Lautner, it's hard not to picture the very attractive and buff entertainer from the Twilight Saga franchise. Other than that, there's very little we associate him with. He's had a couple of minor roles before Twilight, and a couple thereafter. However, his career has somewhat ground to a halt from that point forward. However, from his breakout role as a child to his acclaimed exes and magnanimous ways, Taylor is far more than just the buff buddy from Twilight. We in general believe that entertainers start off their careers with the principal audition they go to, but that wasn't the case for Taylor. He began at 7 years of age, where he tried out for a Burger King commercial. However, sadly, he didn't get the part. He went out for a few different auditions, failing to get one role after another for a couple of years. Following 3 years of bombed endeavours at auditions, Taylor moved to Los Angeles with his family to chase his dream of becoming an actor when he was only 10 years of age. Things started looking up for him when he landed small roles on TV shows like Summerland, My Wife and Kids and The Bernie Mac Show. Notwithstanding those small acting jobs, Taylor did a ton of voice acting as well. He played Youngblood on Danny Phantom, in addition to parts in What's New Scooby-Doo, Which Way Is Up and Silas in Silas and Brittany. Acting is acting, and Taylor now had options to add to his resume. His big break came at long last when he was given the role of Sharkboy in the film The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl 3D. This was his first full-length movie, and he went through very nearly 3 months of shooting the film in Texas with renowned director Robert Rodriguez. Acting isn't the only thing that Taylor has in his locker. He's also a highly skilled hand-to-hand fighter. He began karate training at 6 years of age and won a competition within his first year. When he was 12, he represented the US in the World Karate Association, where he proceeded to win the Lesser World Forms and Weapons title and 3 gold awards. He was likewise positioned first on the planet for NASCAR's Black Belt Open Forms, musical weapons, traditional weapons and traditional forms. He won 3 Junior World Championships when he was 12. Unless you've lived under a rock for the past decade, there's no way you don't know who Taylor Lautner is, on account of his depiction of Jacob Black in the Twilight Saga. His werewolf character was entangled in one of mainstream society's most renowned love triangles with human Bella Swan, played by Kristen Stewart, and vampire Edward Cullen, played by Robert Pattinson, compelling fans into an intense rivalry between Team Jacob and Team Edward. In light of Stephanie Meyer's smash hit books, the Summit Entertainment films, which are on the whole accessible to stream on Foxtel, earned a cosmic $3.346 billion at the box office worldwide, with the sequel New Moon breaking film industry records at the time as the greatest midnight screening and first day ever, making an estimated $72.7 million. It likewise propelled its 3 relative unknown stars to worldwide superstardom practically overnight, their faces appearing everywhere as their lives were sprinkled across tabloids every day. Taylor realised how lucky he was, and accordingly needed to reward those out of luck. With the intensity of the Twilight Saga fans to call upon, he made a Team Jacob messenger bag for the Children's Place and Books for Kids Foundation. All proceeds from the bag went to help fund building libraries and provide books. It's at this point we discover that Taylor dated Taylor Swift. He even had a song written about him to ensure we remember. In any case, he's had a couple of other well-known exes. He seems to have a bit of a habit of dating his co-stars. Firstly, Lily Collins, who he worked with on Abduction, and later his Scream Queens co-star Billy Lord for around 7 months. Taylor was out of nowhere truly buff during the second Twilight film New Moon. However, that was not where he was at when he found his way onto our screens and into our hearts in the first Twilight. Between the 2 motion pictures, he genuinely built up, picking up more than 30 pounds of muscle. He worked out continually and was consistently gobbling to beef up. Certainly not a simple accomplishment for him. So why did he get boycotted by Hollywood? When Twilight fever reached its conclusion in 2012 with the arrival of the 5th and last film Breaking Dawn Part 2, Lautner's career took a bit of a downturn. To be fair to them, it took effort for co-stars Pattinson and Stewart to break free from their notorious characters. However, the pair seem to have managed it and are now encountering a resurgence in the business. Pattinson has had some exciting jobs, all the more of late in The King and The Lighthouse, as well as being given the role as Bruce Wayne in next year's The Batman. While Stewart was adulated for her work in Seaburg and stars in the Charlie's Angels reboot. Lautner, 27, hasn't shown up in a film since 2016. In the same year, he also featured in Scream Queens on TV, whilst continuing his prominent role in the British sitcom Cuckoo since 2014. He left the show a year ago. Right now, it appears there isn't much work coming his way. So where did everything come slamming down? His first movie away from Twilight was the action thriller Abduction in 2011, where he worked closely with Lily Collins. It totally bombed. Critics panned the film, which would have been okay had it managed to make a buck or two at the box office. It made just $28 million locally against a $35 million budget. To make matters worse, Lautner's acting was savaged by reviewers. Movie Line's Alison Wilmore expressed, "This may be the first film I've ever seen where an actor goes to put his hand thoughtfully on his chin, but it's so awkward I became afraid he'd somehow miss and poke himself in the eye." Ouch. Despite not being viewed as the best entertainer of his age, Lautner was still a huge star, which enabled him to command upwards of $5 million for each film, which is what he received for Abduction. He was penciled in to star in Stretch Armstrong as the action figure, as well as in a retelling of David and Goliath, but the two films were cancelled. It seems studios weren't too enthusiastic about paying the $7.5 million Lautner was requesting. His second effort to break free from his werewolf past was in another action film, Tracers. Dropping just about 4 years after the last Twilight, the film didn't get people into theatres and just made $2.8 million locally. Yikes. Then, Lautner made potentially one of the worst decisions of his career and collaborated with Adam Sandler once more, after already showing up in the 2013 comedy Grown Ups 2. Funny man Sandler has broadly lost his energy for parody in recent years. His dialed-in performances are a long way removed from his Happy Gilmore and The Wedding Singer days. In any case, after a series of motion pictures that were savage, Sandler gave it another shot for the 2015 Netflix film The Ridiculous Six, which Lautner committed to. On survey site Rotten Tomatoes, the film is depicted as "should abstain from review" and scored a pretty stunning 0% rating. While promoting Run the Tide in 2016, Lautner told of how he felt categorised by his Twilight stretch and was zeroing in on different things outside of acting. For me, the greatest thing is simply to encircle myself with individuals that I love, simply investing energy. It doesn't make a difference what I'm doing insofar as I'm with my companions and my family, he told Reuters. You know, I could be sitting in a cardboard box and that is the place where I'm most joyful. Having been part of many a prominent connection, which were regularly named as fomances, given they were consistency with his co-stars, Lautner has apparently discovered love with somebody ordinary, an attendant, interestingly, also named Taylor. This comes in the wake of having popular sweethearts including Swift, Collins, Ashley Benson, Selena Gomez and his Tracers co-star Marie Avkopoulos. The couple, who seem to have been dating for a year, post a ton of loved-up photographs together and look totally smitten. He still has an estimated $40 million in the bank, so he can presumably bear to take a holiday. But don't be surprised on the off chance that you see Lautner back on the big or small screen very soon. Furthermore, given the way that he performed in the Ryan Murphy venture Scream Queens, it bodes well for him to show up in one of the numerous movies and TV projects that the maker has in development for Netflix. While I, for one, am sure he'll be back in the spotlight very soon. In the meantime, I hope you've been delighted and shocked at the same time. Leave a comment, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications to know when a new video appears. Take care of yourself.